How's it going, guys? Jace here. Today is going to be an interesting video as there's been a lot going on in the Pokemon investing kind of like YouTube world right now over the past like 2 weeks or so. About 2 weeks now it has been going on. And so the other week back, about a week or so ago, OKJ released a really interesting video talking about Pokemon investing, or more specifically the YouTube channels that talk about it, like mine and some others. As you can see, I was in the thumbnail of that video, but there was no footage of me in the video. Yeah, I watched the video. I thought it was a really good video. He had some very good points that was presented in there, and there's a lot of it which I can relate to as well. And then there was a live stream that happened about a week or so after the release of that video. Now, a lot of you guys have reached out to me either through email, Instagram, or on Discord saying to me, Jace, why weren't you in that live stream? Or, you know, did I know about it? Now, yes, I knew about the live stream. I couldn't make it for time zone purposes. It was just impossible, right? The stream started at like 1 a.m. and it finished. It was like 4-hour long stream. It's a long stream, and it lasted to like 5. It would have been like 5 a.m. here. I'd work the next day. It just wasn't going to happen. You know, trying to juggle that many time zones, it was literally just impossible. One of us would have to pretty much sacrifice sleep for it, and that wasn't going to happen, not for me on that day. So I watched it. I watched it the next day. It's a 4-hour stream. It's a really good stream. Go and check it out. The link is in the description. And there are like, they covered so much. Like, they genuinely covered a lot. And I know that a lot of you guys want my opinion. Now go and check out OKJ. Fantastic career all the way from down under. And it was honestly incredible. It was a really good video. I enjoyed it. It gave some real good, genuine points, which I can relate to. Right, and the reason why I can relate to that, I guess, differently to some other careers, and everyone's going to have different different ways of viewing it and different perspectives, of course. You know, so I'm looking at this. A little bit of background with me is I came into this hobby and created this channel from coming from a different TCG, right? So I've been collecting, investing, and predominantly a player from Magic the Gathering, and I've been doing that for over 15 years. And you know, I grew up with Pokemon. I had all the cards when I was younger. I took a break, as it were, from Pokemon. I then went into Yu-Gi-Oh, and then I went into Magic, and I came back to Pokemon. Started collecting again probably at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020. It was pretty much around like the Hidden Fates, when Hidden Fates started dropping. And so I got really into that, right? It was kind of like, you know, beginning of Sword and Shield era. And a lot of people also came in at the same time. Of course, we had, you know, the Logan Paul boom, as they call it, or they have, you know, the pandemic that came along as well. But I've come in to a different perspective from it. So I'm coming in from like a player's viewpoint. So when I watched that video, I'm thinking, because obviously he does a lot of TCG content, as in he plays the game. You know, he goes to events and, you know, plays competitively and stuff like that, which is awesome. And I'm getting into it as well, you know, coming across, like I say, from Magic, coming into playing the Pokemon TCG as well. So he has it from that perspective. Obviously, he knows a lot and gets involved a lot in the Japanese products and cards and stuff like that. So, you know, which is really cool. He's coming in from a different perspective. And of course, like, I guess the main focus of the video was the fact is the Japanese 151 reprint that happened. And he brought up some really good, interesting stuff. And lots of people made different videos reacting to it, you know, giving their thoughts and opinions on how they see things. I'm not necessarily going to talk much about that video. I'm going to talk mainly about the stream, because the stream was meaty. Yeah, it was 4 hours long. There were a ton of people on there giving, to be honest, really insightful, useful information and just their genuine thoughts. Now, there's some things that I can comment on regarding what was said, I guess, in that stream, or was covered in that stream, and there are some things I can't. So we'll go into each one that I've got. I mean, I've got it written down in front of me here, which I'll go through, just some key points which kind of jumped out at me. And I can give you guys my thoughts and opinions on it. Of course, we all got different thoughts and opinions. You know, so this is just what I have. You might agree, you might disagree. I'd like to know what you guys think in general. But yeah, because you guys reached out to me, I thought, you know what, I'll make a little video and we can talk about it. So let's jump into the first point. Okay, so first point is about investing as a whole in Pokemon, right? I guess the overall consensus is it a good thing to be using Pokemon, but talking about investing in Pokemon, you know, whole buying, collecting, or whatever it may be, and the difference between the two. And for me, collecting and investing are kind of both sides of the same coin. if you, look at buying any form of sealed product, and this is what I talk about on my videos, if you buy any form of sealed product, most of the time, historically, it will go up in value. That doesn't apply to just Pokemon, that also applies for Magic. Magic and Pokemon sealed product are pretty much identical in the way they grow over time due to supply and demand. And that was obviously covered on the stream, they talked about it a lot, and it's one of these things where, it's like, but why does it go up over time? It just does. That's what history has taught us, and you learn from it, and you kind of just grow from that and work upon that. And like I said, it's the same with Magic. Magic's been going much longer than Pokemon. It does the same, right? Now, of course, there has been a recent boom, as it were, that kind of happened. A lot of people flooded in to the hobby. And there was a time period before all of this was happening, which it was growing. Stuff was going up in value, but at a much steady and natural rate, which is what I've been talked about before. When some things go up really quickly and you're like, wait a minute, this shouldn't be happening. That's basically what happens. And like, looking at the stream, I mean, Cool Trainer Ryan covered it, kind of hit the nail straight on the head, where it was like, things just went crazy, right, over the past few years. And, it's just the way it went, and it's just the way it goes. We can't predict, it's a guessing game of how things will go. I mean, I didn't think Evolving Skies would go as stupidly high as it has now. It just, in my opinion, it's just like, that's crazy. That's not natural at all. It's just the way it has happened, unfortunately. Now, when you do have channels like mine and others that are like, look, giving you guys information on what is going on, so how much stuff is going for, or how much stuff is going up or down, so then you can make your own decisions whether or not you want to buy them. And one thing I always say is buy what you like. In my opinion, you can't go wrong for buying something you like, because you like it, you enjoy it. That's great, that's something that's everybody should do. And also buy what you can afford. Yes, Evolving Skies boxes are what, like 700. If you can't afford to spend 700, don't buy it. I don't. I have to go month by month and budget carefully and have a little bit of money put aside. And some months I don't buy anything. It's not like I can just be throwing money around left and right and center and buy everything. Not the case, right? You got to be careful with your money, and you guys know that anyway. But there's, of course, one of the risks. And I did a video recently where I talked about the risks. But yeah, so going back to it, they do go up over time. It happens in other TCGs, happened for Magic for over 30 years, and it's happening with Pokemon as well now. So yes, there was different catalysts. That was another topic they talked about, was the catalyst of kind of like the boom, as it were. They were saying that it's COVID, you could say Logan Paul, it was kind of like a perfect storm. Everything was a perfect storm, and I talked about that before, and I've mentioned it before. Sword and Shield had a perfect storm going for it. You had COVID, which forced everybody to, obviously here in the UK, stay at home, and a lot of people had excess money, right? Now, I know they mentioned a little bit, now I'm not too sure about the ins and outs, but over in the US, you guys had the stimulus checks. I don't know how much they were, I don't know how much you guys got. Probably wasn't enough to go and buy base set booster boxes left, right, and center. A lot of people use it probably to live, right? Whereas over here in the UK, we had a thing called furlough, which was basically we were getting paid by the government to not go to work, essentially. So it was like a percentage of our wages, not the whole 100%. So we were getting paid to stay at home. But people had money and they couldn't go out and spend it. So people buy boxes. Then you had the logistical side. It was really difficult to get product moving around from country to country, from printing companies to all sorts. It was just so difficult. Then on top of that, which was covered in the stream, was crypto. You had loads of different crypto people making a ton of money. I made a little bit on it, but you had people that did make a lot of money. So there's a lot of money sloshing around that was happening during 2020, 2021. And on top of that, you had the Logan Paul, I wouldn't say boom, but I would just say the Logan Paul hype. He kind of brought a lot of eyes to the vintage side, by doing these base set, first edition box breaks. And it did bring a lot of people's eyes to how much certain cards were. Now, if I remember, like I think on his stream when it happened, might have been the first one, the prices they listed were like way out of whack, but it drew people's attention to it. So then it started to get people going into the vintage, and then they were looking at, hang on a minute, there's a supply and demand issue going on with Sword and Shield product. Stuff started going up. I mean, when Shining Fates hit, they were going for, over here in the UK, they were going for double what they should have been selling for, you know, paying 180, 190, 200 a box for Vivid Voltage. Things was crazy. It really was crazy. Now Pokemon are on top of things, and things are getting moving, which is great. You know, which is great. So regarding, you know, a lot of interest had flooded the hobby, as it were, during that time, for sure, you know, and I would say Pokemon and YouTube across the board got a massive boom during COVID. Everyone was at home watching and making content. You know, it was the perfect storm for Sword and Shield. I think that, you know, moving forward, going into Scarlet and Violet, I don't think that we'll get the same response as we did with Sword and Shield. I think Pokemon are on it. Things are going back to normal. They mentioned it on the stream. I think Cool Train Ryan mentioned on the stream where it feels like we're going back to like the XY era, where things are going back to normal. They're calming things down, which is fine. That's the natural growth and where it's supposed to be. That's my thoughts on, you know, what has caused the influx of people coming into the hobby and what happened during that 2020, 2021 boom, you know, Sword and Shield era and stuff like that. That's basically my thought on what things have happened and continue to happen. We're seeing the effects of that going on as more and more booster boxes are going up in price and things get more expensive. Then next thing, another thing that was mentioned on there was, I think Nostalgianomics said it, they're saying that the Pokemon investment channels are like the scourge of the TCG. I like the word scourge. I don't think so. I think that, I don't know what comments that some people get in their videos, just the internet as a whole. You know what I mean? It's literally just the internet as a whole. You're gonna get people that make silly comments and stuff like that. And I mean, I get the odd one now and again, and I think some people are passionate that they don't want the money aspect talked about it in Pokemon, which I will get to in a minute because that was another big topic of conversation on the stream as well. I think that a lot of people think that we were the scalpers. You know, we were going out there buying all the product up to stop people from actually enjoying it, which, yeah, well, from my perspective anyway, definitely not the case. Definitely not the case. You don't see me whipping out a bin bag in Walmart and just scooping it all up. Usually as a rule, that tends to be people that do like mass rip and ships and stuff like that. But as a rule, no, not really. We tend to like be a bit more I say a bit more careful with money, but choose precisely what we go and buy, rather than just buying up as much stuff as humanly possible. I mean, I don't do it. Some people might, but yeah, I don't think, as far as that goes, we're not really the scourge. Not really. Okay, and then we talked about the money aspect of Pokemon. There's one thing that Possum brought up, which is actually a really good point, which is the money. Like, everybody seems to be talking about money, or money seems to be featured in a lot of Pokemon content. Not just my content, not just people talking about the marketing, people talking about investing content. Even pack openings, you get money, you know, signs flinging up on the screen when people pull cards, and obviously, especially with single cards, they change and fluctuate so much over time. You could watch a video that's like 2 months old, and it'll come up with a card saying it's $10, and now that card could be like $2. You know, you just don't know, and you can get some misinformation when it comes to prices flying on the screen with card openings. And I've done it before. You know, I've had card prices fling up, but they change. They change really, really rapidly. I'll say more so than sealed product. But yeah, money's definitely involved. Money is also massively involved in Magic. You know, we go back to Magic because that's my main focus. You go back to Magic, and a lot of money is mentioned in there all the time. Whether or not it would be single card prices, sealed booster box prices, whatever it may be, you do get the money conversation, as it were, and money talked about a lot when it comes to any form of collectibles. Just the way it goes, unfortunately. But yes, there are, you know, our channels where we do talk predominantly on the money side of things, because at least me anyway, tries to portray the information to people so people can then make their own decisions and decide what they want to do. It gives you guys and everybody else the information to decide what they want. And if you don't want to know about it, then don't watch it, you know what I mean? But yeah, and then even then, like, maybe you might get a TCG channel, you know, where they're talking about, you know, deck lists and deck techs and gameplay of decks and stuff like that, and guides. Some of them might also put prices up. Like, you want to know how much does it cost to build this deck? How much does it cost to get some of the big important cards or key cards for your deck? You might want to know what the prices are if you do want to build it. You want to know whether or not you can build a deck on a budget and stuff like that. So there are a lot of money conversations that are brought in from the player's side, because I had the same with Magic, right? I want to go and buy a playset for a particular card. Am I going to spend 50 per card, or am I going to spend 10 per card? I don't know what the price is. I want to know if I want to go out and put that together and build it, which, you know, there's always going to be money involved when it comes to collectibles. Another topic is like Pokemon over traditional investments. Now, again, I'm not too sure how things are in other countries, but over here, again, yeah, you can, you know, invest on the stock market. You could put money towards like a pension plan for your retirement when you get older, and then you can put it in other things. Some people put it in crypto, some people put it in collectibles. Obviously, diversify is key, and you know, one thing I do say is don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't go all in on Pokemon. For me, I've got some stocks and shares, got, you know, a house, got a pension, got Pokemon, got Magic. I did have crypto, but I don't anymore. But it's just those things, you know, you just put in a little bit at a time, you know. And the same with like buying a booster box. You know, let's say you buy the new set coming out, Twilight Masquerade. You buy Twilight Masquerade for $80-$90 a box. You can just buy one each month. Doesn't have to be each month, but you can buy one at a time, and it'll build up over time, you know. And it is that risk, of course, because like an example is, you know, they talked about as the risk, you know, talking more about the risk, and I did a video on it, but pretty much lower the cost, lower the risk, right? And, you know, that's why I suggest don't necessarily go out and buy an Evolving Skies booster box, because you're spending so much money as a high risk, you know, high chance of being a risk, because it could fall, you know. And that's one thing that we did talk, was brought up in the video, and it'll be on the live stream around like Japanese 151, was the reprint. So reprints, I'm a huge fan of reprints. I think reprints are a great thing. I think reprints are great for players, it's great for collectors, it's just fun, right? It just allows kids to open packs and don't have to spend so much money. It allows players to get the cards they want, or crack packs to try and get the cards they want to build the decks they want, you know. And again, coming from Magic, where Magic likes to not necessarily reprint booster boxes, but they reprint specific cards, it drops the cost to be able to play the decks you want to play, which is kind of good. And people get excited to see reprints of their favorite cards, or cards that are just very, very expensive, and it makes it more fun and more interesting to then open said product. With Pokemon, it's slightly different. Obviously, we're going from it's more of a collection standpoint. I still think that sets that are in standard rotation should just be print to demand. If you want a booster box, it gets printed out and sent out, right? Print to demand really does work. You know, having sets that are still in standard that reach insane levels and prices, it's just not great. It's just not fun. And, you know, if they reprinted Evolving Skies tomorrow, then, yeah, so be it. You know, it means it's cheaper. I can buy more if I wanted to. It means people can actually buy some booster boxes and open it and have fun and don't feel like they're immediately wasting their money. And, you know, it's just one of the things. Yeah, Pokemon could reprint anything at any time, but it's similar to like Wizards with Magic. They can reprint all of these old sets at any point and any time in Magic. But in the 30 plus years they've been doing it, they haven't. Why? Because they're already so busy of getting these print machines going for meeting the current demand and future sets. I mean, they release so many different sets a year. Why would they want to go back? Why? Yeah, they can make money, right? You could say, yeah, but they could reprint Evolving Skies. I think they could. They could reprint Revolt. Imagine if they reprint Evolving Skies and they sell it for, you know, just on the Pokemon Center website at 200 a box. It would sell. It would fly off the shelves. Pokemon will make a ton of money. But they haven't done it. It's strange. If they really wanted to, they could reprint base set booster boxes. They could put it on the Pokemon Center website as a exclusive. They can even charge 1,000 a box. It would fly off the shelves. But they haven't. Bit of a weird one, right? So they could, hypothetically, but yeah. For me, I think reprints are good. I just don't think that reprinting old sets, especially once they're out of print, I say out of print, but once they go past X amount of years, it then becomes less and less likely. But you can never say never. You just don't know. Talked about was the Scarlet and Violet era. Of course, a lot of people are talking about Sword and Shield at the moment because we are seeing a lot of booster boxes reaching crazy highs and selling out on the Pokemon Center website and becoming less and less available. And one thing that got brought up was, well, what about, you know, Scarlet and Violet? How could you talk about Scarlet and Violet when there's like, it's so new, ton of stuff's about and stuff like that? Look, one thing I always say to people is, you know, it's cheap right now. You can buy it if you want it. Now's a good time to crack open because it's cheap. Have fun. You know, we don't know. These booster boxes might just sit at $100 for years. you know, but historically they've gone up over time. How fast they go, anybody's guess. You know, it's 100% a guessing game. But even the worst sets, Crimson Invasion, Steam Siege, you know, even Battle Styles is on the uptick, but even some of the worst sets in the eras have always gone up. It may be by a little bit, it may be by a lot, but over time they trickle upwards. So, you know, it has happened, but of course there's a risk. It always is a risk. There's a risk of me spending my money opening up a booster box, just throwing money away. You know, and it's just one of these things. That's why I say to people, don't buy an Evolving Skies booster box and open it. You just literally throw money away. You know, so it's just one of those things with Scarlet and Violet. Honestly, just crack on. Really, just have fun, buy what you want, you know, and enjoy it. That's what I say. Do what you enjoy. That's the main thing. But overall, it was a really, really good stream. I enjoyed it. They covered a lot of good points, and it's nice to see different perspectives from people. Really good. And it's one of these things where, yeah, I would love to have joined, because like I say, you know, hopefully I'm able in this video to give a little bit of a different perspective, but I would be coming into the conversation from a different background. You know, I'm coming in from a kind of a player first, from another TCG where it's been going longer than Pokemon. It's got a little bit more history behind it on how sealed product has performed, and Pokemon's no different. It really is no different. The only thing that's different is the cards. You know, single card prices for Magic are different to Pokemon. Pokemon's a collectible side. Magic is a, you know, player-driven, game-driven card prices. Although they're now pushing more and more into the collectible side of things, like they did with the Lord of the Rings set and stuff. But yeah, they're trying to get on that bandwagon. But yeah, it's very, very similar when it comes to sealed products. So I could have given a little bit of different perspective, of course, but they pretty much covered it. You know, the link, like I said, the link is in the description if you do want to check out the stream. It's a great stream. It's 4 hours. Put on the background, listen to it like I did, and crack on wherever you're doing. It was really good, and everybody they featured on there, they had very, very good points. It was nice to see some creators which I haven't seen their content on give some really good information. But I'm going to link all of their channels for you guys to go and check them out. Okay, they'll all be in the description along with the video. But yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. It was such a good stream. If there's going to be another one in the future, I would love to join, of course. I mean, I'm even tempted to get some people on this channel for some live streams and just talk about, you know, buying, collecting, Pokemon, investing, whatever it may be, even about the TCG. I mean, I would love to get OKJLove on a stream and talk about the Pokemon TCG, because I want to get into it. I've been practicing. I've been recording some videos of me trying to play the game. I would love to go to some events and, who knows, go into some regionals or anything like that. Hey, look, I'm a competitive player at heart. I'm getting into it and I'm enjoying it so far from what I've played. And maybe you can give me a little bit of extra advice on deck building and gameplay, because I'm good at playing online, but I kind of feel like if I played it in paper, I might struggle a bit trying to understand everything. But you just never know. But that is my thoughts overall. Like I said, great video, great stream. It's nice to see everybody, you know, come together, and it turned to just a little general chit chat at the end, and I love it. You know, it's just fantastic. It's just one of those things. I think that they probably had a little bit too many people on there. It did seem like a little bit of a free-for-all in some places, but it's the way it is, always is when you get like a whole group of people involved. But it's great. I would love to see one in the future. Honestly, you know, props to JLove for setting it up, because it was really, really good, and everyone on there had really good, valid points. If I'm being honest, there isn't any from any side that I disagree with, to be honest. Like I say, I'm looking from this from for a different lens, let's put it that way. If you've made it far into the video, guys, and you've enjoyed it, make sure to smash the like button and make sure to subscribe for more Pokemon content, and let me know your thoughts down in the comments, guys, of my opinions of the stream itself. What have you taken away from it? And would you like to see me talk to some of the guys that they had on there, or anybody else? Let me know, and I'm happy to put some streams together and we can have a good old chat. I can put the kettle on and we can have a good little chat. I can have some biscuits as well. I mean, how amazing is that? If you want to know my thoughts on the risks in Pokemon investing, then make sure to click the video on screen right now, and make sure to go and subscribe and check out all the other guys' channels. They're all in the description. Go and check them out. Go and check out the stream. It's absolutely amazing. That's it for me, guys, in today's video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, you guys are legends, and I'll see you in the next one.